The Whispering Table. A horror tale in the shadows of diplomacy. The hotel in Istanbul was old, older than it had any right to be. Its bones creaked with history, and its silence was not silence at all, but a held breath. Room 616 had been closed for decades. Sealed, some whispered, not for disrepair, but for something older. Something buried. But that day, as the Ukrainian delegation entered for their quiet pre-meeting with representatives of Germany, Italy, and the UK, the hotel staff said nothing. They merely handed over the antique key and crossed themselves when backs were turned. Serhiy Kislitsia had felt the pressure change the moment he stepped inside. The room had a table at its center, massive blackened wood, too heavy to have been carried up the stairs. It looked as though it had grown there, rooted in the floor like a tree fed by secrets and blood. Alexander Bevs touched the wood absently, then flinched. "Cold," he muttered. "Don't," said Serhiy, sharper than he intended. The diplomats entered one by one, nodding grimly. They were not naive men. They had all seen war, felt the pulse of it under the skin of politics. But none of them could explain why the lights flickered, why the air tasted of copper, why a shadow lingered in the mirror though no one stood before it. They sat. The door closed. No one remembered closing it. As discussions began, strategies, alignments, red lines, they all noticed something, a voice, faint, beneath their words, under the floorboards, behind the walls. It wasn't Turkish. It wasn't Russian, it wasn't any language known to man, but it understood them, and it hated them. The table pulsed. Once. The German diplomat, Friedrich, jerked in his seat. Blood trickled from his ear. He laughed, a terrible hollow thing, and began speaking Russian, eyes rolled back. But the Russian he spoke was ancient, guttural, wrong. Bevs rose. "We need to go, now." The door would not open. The knob spun freely in his hand. The table pulsed again. Papers caught fire. Flames climbed without heat. The British rep screamed as the walls began to bleed. Not metaphor, but fact. Crimson fluid poured from the ceiling vents, spelling names on the walls in looping Cyrillic. Names of Ukrainian villages, Bucha, Mariupol, Irpin. "It's feeding on our memory," Kislitsia whispered, pale. "On our pain." Friedrich collapsed, face aged 100 years in seconds. The Italian diplomat began praying in Latin, but the prayer came back reversed, as though spoken from a mirror. His rosary turned to ash. The mirror across the room cracked. Behind it, a hand pressed forward, a long, impossibly thin finger tapping the glass, tapping in rhythm with the table's pulse. A voice filled the room, deep and wet. "Ukraine stands. But not all of you will leave." Bevs grabbed Kislitsia. They forced the door. It screamed like a dying animal, but it gave. The hallway was different now, longer, angled, endless. They ran. Only two emerged, hours later, into the Turkish sunlight. Ash streaked their suits. Blood marked their shoes. Behind them, room 616 sealed itself once more. Later, Serhiy would say, "It wasn't Russia we were negotiating with. It was something older, and it hates freedom." The hotel still stands. Room 616 is empty again, waiting.